96.1 The Beat, Atlanta's new home for hip hop, R&B, and the Breakfast Club. I'm JoJo Alonzo.
Manny Supreme.
And you clocked in with the night shift.
Special guest today.
You
You know, we on the radio. We don't make beats, but we got somebody who's a legend at it.
We could.
Turbo.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. We're talking about his new single. He's dropping it out with Gunna on the new music and playmakers and more. Let's get it.
Classy girl. Pretty women all over the world. Take you with me, we can travel the world. Classy girl. And I just left Cairns back to Spain, we can go. Put you on the way that
96.1 The Beat, Atlanta's new home for hip hop, R&B, and the Breakfast Club. You are clocked in with the night shift with JoJo Alonzo and Manny Supreme.
Hello. We got one of my favorite producers of all time.
Hello.
Legendary. Grammy Award. Multiple nominations. Every time I hop in the car, he's on the radio like Pharrell back in the 90s. Ladies and gentlemen, Turbo the Great.
What up, what up?
What's happening, man? We're talking about pioneer of Atlanta music. I'm talking about with the transition between skinny jeans to baggy clothes when I was in high school. The soundtrack of my high school is sitting right here. Turbo, what's happening, man?
Man, everything is good. How y'all?
We good. We need to get this, point them out.
Exactly.
So listen, look, are you trying to point anybody out? Because that's what time it is right now. If it is, look at this camera right now and point they ass out.
American Airlines.
Oh,
Some
no.
bullshit.
Uh-oh.
Telling you some bullshit. You had me scared on the way here. I had to come to the town and promote this new single.
Yeah.
But man, we was landing, right? We landing. And then the plane touched the ground and then go right back in the sky.
Oh yeah, no. Like Soul Plane, like when it was doing that.
Nah, it wasn't cool.
Oh.
It was like, oh, what y'all doing? What's
Okay.
going on? And you know, they ain't say nothing for about 10 minutes. You see what's going on in the news. I'm
No
like,
facts.
hey.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So did it like land and then
Tie
take
your
off,
skin
or
in?
did
Touch
it?
ground,
Uh-huh.
take back off.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, y'all were supposed to be, you were coming in.
We was coming in, so you know the back tires, they touch ground.
Yeah.
Back tires touch ground, took right back off.
So then nobody asked no questions.
Nah, I mean, it was, nah. I mean, it wasn't no question, who you gonna ask?
But y'all were supposed to be landing at
We
Hartsville.
was supposed to be landing.
So where did y'all go? Did y'all
Right.
come back down?
Back in the air, then we took a circle and then came back down.
Oh yeah,
And he
like
said
y'all was
something.
y'all was on Manifest. Seen that?
Nah.
yeah.
That sound like something crazy.
American Airlines, man. Fix that.
Way to
Okay,
point them out,
American
though, man.
Airlines, way
Get
to
it
point 'em
together.
out. Yeah, I don't fly you
Please.
anyway, so.
Way to get it together. Man, we been talking about this new single though dropping this week. Take me back to the session when you and Wanna first hopped in there, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was my birthday. It was my birthday last year. I'm a Leo, big Leo, best Leo, you know what I'm saying, you ever met. So we was in Turks, and we had houses next to each other. You know, it's my birthday. You know what I mean? We celebrating. And he called me early in the AM, and, you know, we just reflecting, we just talking, we be chopping it up. But, you know, I don't really get up early, so it's like 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
But it was like that fresh wake up. And, you know, we talking, and he like, man, just come, let's go over here, let's do something, let's try something, you know, after the conversation. So I walked to his house, and I had already been holding on to this beat for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like waiting for the right moment. And the sun was coming up. It's like that vibe. You know, the house crazy, the doors, pocket doors that open all the way up. You know what I mean? The beach right there at your fingertips. So, you know, we played the beat and was just like kind of freestyling to the beat. Just me and him. Everybody hadn't even woke up yet. Just me and him. And then the words just started coming out, you know, and the rest was history. The sun came up, the water was right there, and, you know, it was just flowing out. It was a really good session, especially on the morning of my birthday. You know what I mean? That was dope.
Best way to bring it in.
So does like scenery, does that help you like with your creative process?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I need scenery. I'm getting to a point in my career like where the studios ain't doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need something with like windows or
Right.
something that I can look out and see, you know, just to
Yeah.
get inspired.
Well, that's what Kanye said, right? He went on a whole
Yeah, every time I
venture.
see his studios, it looks very eccentric.
Yeah.
He was like outside when he made, I don't remember which album it was, but he did it outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just pull inspiration from anything.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
Yep.
Talk about inspiration. CEO of Playmakers.
Oh yeah.
How did that? First off, why the name? Was that the first name that you knew? That was like, okay, when I get my own situation, this one I'm rolling with.
Yeah, I mean, Playmakers has been a thing since we were kids. You know what I mean? When we was young, me and my brother, shout out Jet, we just was on a, if we was going to go do something, we was going to go make a play. You know what I mean? If we was going to go pick up some little money or go do something, it was like, making plays. But when you think about it, every important person in the world is a playmaker. Yeah. Like they make decisions for whatever it is. Even like your mom, you know what I'm saying? She makes decisions for your family. So, it's more so of a lifestyle. And, as music started to come and, some of my boys was just rapping and I was rapping and producing, it became our clique and our thing, And as I got successful, it became my company.
Right. What do you say was the first record that made Playmakers a thing? And who did the drop?
Man, somebody, this girl did a drop. She wasn't even from London. I can't remember. Somebody from Cascade. Yeah. I can't even. She was walking around with that voice. I can't even remember.
He said, "Come here, I need you to lay this down."
Yeah, on the iPhone voice memo.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Come on and came and did that.
Hundreds of millions.
I had Playmakers tag before I had Running Back Turbo tag. Yeah.
Fire.
Yep.
Legendary, man.
That's why Playmakers tag is on OK and not Running Back Turbo.
So are you like bringing producers and artists into Playmakers?
Yeah.
So how do you go about how do you look for them? Like, what is it they didn't have?
For all the aspiring producers.
I mean, it comes with like work ethic for sure, but more than anything, just like personality. You know what I mean? You was telling me like, Kenny. Kenny is my brother.
Shout out to Kenny, man.
You know what I mean? For sure. Shout out Kenny Stunn. Like, that was my brother. I watched him like grow up for real. So, it was like personality. And then just being around us, he seen like the work ethic. So he picked up on the work ethic very, very fast. But, as of now, like I'm looking for artists and just something that just sound different. You know what I mean? Not in the space that I'm necessarily known for. Like I'm even looking for bands. You know what I mean? I want to sign a band, So
if they trying to do that, how do they go about doing it?
Get my attention.
Straight like that.
Yeah.
How they supposed to get your attention?
They music could do it.
Okay.
These days, music got to find you. You know what I mean? So if I see it, or if they even reach out, we checking.
Okay.
I'm not a hard man to find. I'm outside.
Okay.
Okay. One of my favorite records, definitely when Gunna was able to get back to doing what Gunna does best, was Bachelor.
Yup, for sure.
Where's that sample from? What sample is that?
That's actually from a PlayStation commercial.
You lying.
Yeah, it's from a PlayStation commercial. I was same thing. Inspired, sitting at the crib. The PlayStation had just came out. Everybody was treating it like Jordans in the 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I was watching a commercial, and James Blake is playing the piano, like live, on the commercial, just in some crazy place, and he's singing one of his songs.
Yeah.
So I love that, and like, I'm just a producer, so like I love sampling. I love just trying things just to get inspired. And that's what that was. That was just me having fun, just sampling. And Gunna wound up doing it.
Yeah.
Just on some like, he liked the beat. He don't understand none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, the music. I love the music. And it just became Bachelor.
What do you think is probably like the strangest like influence you done got like from something, an object or something you seen, a sound?
Strange? I mean,
that you was just like, dang.
I pull from anything, you know what I mean? I seen you walk in with some Chick-fil-A earlier, you know what I'm saying, and a blue drink, you know what I mean? It's like, I name the beat Blue Drink.
Hello?
You know what I mean? It could be anything. Like, I pull from everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. So if you could think about somewhere you pulled something that you was like, damn, I really pulled that out of that. It's so many of them.
It's so many of them. You know what I mean? I can't even just put my finger on one thing. I have to really just think about that. I might call this like balance. You know what I'm saying? I might look at this thing and see that this balance thing is on it. You know what I mean? And it's like my mind started running from that point. Like, what does it sound like musically? What balance sound like? Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like producing is such a particular crowd because I've tried to dibble and dabble into it. I work with some of the bros who just put out an album and shit like that, and I have fun seeing how music is created. That's why I'm talking about the record with you and Gunna. I'm like, I know you ain't make that here in Atlanta. It just sounds like something that was created in a very eccentric, just different vibe.
He definitely was given.
Just different. And sometimes I've opened up FL. I'll try. What software do you work on?
Yeah, FL.
All right, and when I first just learned how to layer the beats and put it in different places where it can automate.
Yeah.
But then once it gets to, I don't know where to go from there. So it's like, even when you were first starting, Where were you gaining that inspo from? Were you sitting around watching people do it? Did you teach yourself?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, I was 13 going to 14. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I really got engulfed with like waveforms in the way that like the waveforms were looking on the computer screen. That was like the first thing that just caught my eye. And then, I mean, once I started learning how to just make something using the software and just like putting different drum loops together, is like I just really fell in love with the process. Yeah. And fell in love with like making something out of nothing. So, you know, it was like an early age that I started, and like just like anything else when you're young, like that's like the time where you get influenced or whatever, and it's like I could have went 2 different ways with my life, and I'm just so blessed that like I just stayed in that basement.
What made you want to be a producer?
Watching other super producers,
like who?
Like Timberland, like Zaytoven, nice. Swiss Beats, Kane Beats. I always say that it was like a Lil Wayne song that like I tried to remake so many times, that Kane made, and like Johnny Giuliano, all these different guys from back then. I just didn't understand how they made something out of nothing. I didn't understand sound design. I didn't understand anything. So, I mean, once I got engulfed in it and I found out, okay, you know, this is how you do it. Like, it's like, okay, who's doing it? These guys are doing it. And I don't know. I'm like a sponge. You know what I mean? Once I found out the information, I just started falling in love with it.
Yeah. Speaking of falling in love with stuff, I first fell in love with Gunna off one of your beats. And what was the decision with you executively producing his second tape, was it? That he did?
Yeah.
And why not the first one? When did you first meet Gunna?
I mean, by title, though. Let me just clarify that. Like, you know, that's like how it's been title-wise, but I've technically executive produced every single one of Gunna's albums. Yeah. It wasn't anything creatively that I didn't, you know, have a hand in from start to finish. Yeah. But our start was like that. You know, we from the South Side. We know, you know, similar people. He was already kind of rapping. So, like, you know, I was familiar with who he was. He was familiar with who I was. And when we started coming to the city, because, you know, the South is where it's at, you know what I mean? When we started coming to the city, it's like, all right, cool, it's a no-brainer. We started working. And I don't know, we just kept up with each other, you know, as far as, like, who's staying in the studio the longest. There's a lot of producers and engineers around that time, but I really want to stay in the studio longer than anybody. Yeah. And he really want to stay in the studio longer than anybody. So that's where, like, that's how we started meshing for real. And, you know, the sound just is turbo as Gunna. You know what I mean? He doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. And it's like we was knocking out, you know, 5 to 6 songs, you know, some nights. Just like that was just unheard of for, you know, somebody that wasn't just successful or didn't have studio time to just pay for. So I think that's how we just grew together and we just stayed together. It wasn't even no real, like, intention. We was just grinding. Yeah.
And, you know, like, So you produce for different artists. They got different styles.
Yep.
So how is it that you make something particular for those artists, but you still maintain having your own identity within the beat?
I think that's a good question. I mean, I'm putting my soul into my music, and, you know, just as a real producer, like, you got your own sound, I guess. But working with other artists, I take the approach of, like, what would I want to hear them on, like, from a fan approach. Okay. You know, it's like, if you doing some of this, like, let's try this, you know, or maybe I made a beat and I know you'll sound crazy on this, but it's way more elevated than what you're used to. So, I mean, my approach is just that, like, I want to beat everybody. You know what I mean? I want to make the best beat. I want to stay up longest. I want to learn the most. Like, that's just like my mentality, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just take a different approach for everybody, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's a great question, though.
Okay, thanks.
I want to hear this. Yeah. Out of the Drip or Drown discographies, right?
Yeah.
Which record do you feel like has brought you guys the most attention, awareness, and respect?
From, like, Drip or Drown 1 and 2?
And 3.
Is it Drip?
I mean 2. Yeah, 1 and 2. I'm tripping.
Yeah. You mean Drip Season?
Drip Season.
Yeah, Drip Season. Definitely okay, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I feel I wasn't super involved in DS1 other than, like, that Offset record that he got that beat the case. We did that, and that was, like, another one of those first things with me and Gunna. But like Drip Season 2, I wasn't really super involved in, and Drip Season 3, it was like, okay, was the big hit for Gunna. And it kind of took him off, and, you know, we was working a lot together. So I'd definitely say that one, for sure, if I had to pick it.
For sure. Take me back to that session. You remember?
Yeah, Atlanta, Loud House Studios, most legendary studio there was, you know. This one back when, you know, Baby was still trying to figure out if he wanted to rap or not, you know what I'm saying? Thug was Thug, and Gunna was still same, you know what I mean? Just still trying to figure his stuff out. Yeah. And we was in a small room, a room smaller than this, and he had actually just lost his drive. So we was having like one of those moments where we felt like we had to re-record all the music over again. And that's when we came up with, okay, just another one of those nights. We stay in the studio. So it was another one of those nights of just trying. And like, you know, I made the beat after the session the night before, just trying to have enough beats for the next session. And when he came in, you know, it was like he did his parts and Thug would be in the room next door. So we took it over to Thug. He did his parts. I recorded all of it. And, you know, by 4 a.m. or something like that, Baby walking into the studio and he did his parts.
Crazy.
And it was just like, you know, it was just a full day's length of work. And still, I'm not going to say I didn't think anything of it, but it was like we was making so many bangers. It was just like another, like we had a system, you know, so. And I hadn't had any real success yet. So, like, that's when I knew, like, okay, this how this work.
So you say you made the beat pretty much overnight? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, like it's like we had the session the day before, and then they go home, and then I stayed and kept making beats for the session for the next.
Right.
Day.
So you said beats plural. How many of these beats are you making in a day?
Right.
Oh,
like, cause I know people they still working on a beat. 2 weeks.
Oh nah, yeah, I'm making
like hurry it up.
I'm making as much as I can, but back then I'm making 10 beats a day, 10, 11 beats a day. You know, it depends because I was recording all of the music back then too. So if I had time, you know, I'll probably make 5 before they get there, 5 before they leave.
Yeah.
You know, and just work it that way. But yeah, I'm still making at least 4 beats a day today.
That's fine.
It's just crazy. Like, how one's brain even do that?
Yeah.
I can't even think if I can even be that creative.
I told you I tried to make on FL. It's still sitting there.
Computer
charge the same. Everything. Grease spots on the laptop. Everything.
So how would you say you start yours? Like melodies, vibes, drums, like
it's all different.
Yeah.
So it just depends on like what I'm inspired by, but for the most part, it's melody first, and then I let my drums follow it. But it's been times that you know, I watched the Shine documentary. Not that long ago, a couple months ago, and you know I just got inspired by that and started with my drums then trying to remake like that Bad Boy song, you know, and that's like, you know, it's just inspiration.
Okay, so listen, we know that you work closely with Gunna, Thug, and Baby. So how did all of these relationships form with you?
In Loud House.
Okay.
That was like, you know, that was my studio. So at that time, you know, the studio is like everybody's living room or everybody's club or whatever. You went to the studio for real before you went to the club. So I used to just always stay in the studio. So whether, you know, Thug went home and Gunna was there, then I'm going to do something with Gunna. If Baby called, he one of them waking up early types, like I'm going to leave the studio and pull up on him, you know, and it's just, we just started to gain our own different rapports.
Yeah.
Right. Could fans be expecting more music with you and Baby in the future?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm sure.
You guys' chemistry was just so insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that could definitely be something that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a long career in this, so I'm sure we'll figure something out.
Most definitely. Where and would you say was the first time you heard one of your records in a big space, whether that be on the radio or an unexpected cosign like a Shaq playing Drip Too Hard in the back of him doing some dumb shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it had to be Drip Too Hard days where, like, that was like a huge radio hit, and, like, you would just
Shout out Greg Street, man. That was where
shout
I was
out Greg.
First.
For sure.
OG Atlanta vibes,
Yeah, I know.
I gotta show respect.
And he was screaming, running that back turbo on TV, on the radio and all that. Yeah, so, you know, it had to be that record specifically because I just seen it everywhere, you know, out of town and, you know, I always like doing that car test where like if we somewhere seeing what they playing or who playing it loud or whatever, and that was like that. It was really that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being out of town and hearing it
in the whip, and
somebody's riding down the street and you just, it's like I know the bass line. I'm like, oh. They playing this out here? Like, yeah.
Y'all heard that? For sure, man. More album? Were you and Gunna on the way?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we got the catalog for it. It's just, it's been a whole plan with us. You know what I mean? And the plan has been kind of going according to plan. If not better.
Right.
Yeah, that's
you
what I'm saying.
all over the radio, bro.
If not better, you know, it's just still phase, you know. Early phases.
Yeah.
So it could definitely be in the works. We got the catalog for it.
How many unreleased songs y'all think y'all sent on?
Thousands.
Oof.
Easily.
What's the vibe of you and Gunna's favorite unreleased record?
It's something new. It's like something for his next album. His next album gonna be, you know, kind of on a classy girl wave, not in the girl sense, but in the elevated production. And, you know, something that's for everybody.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've been in the studio cooking like, you know, your grandma with them elbows.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a Sunday.
Yeah.
Hello. No facts.
Who have been some new artists you gotten a chance to take a listen to, whether here in the city or just out and about?
My little brother, Lil Jay, he from the South Side.
Yeah.
I've been working with him a lot. Shout out him. He from Shady Park. All right, so, you know, he's a new artist. It's a lot of guys that just come across my my Instagram feed.
Yeah.
It's another kid. I think his name is like Giannis or something like that. I think he's from Florida or something. I don't know. He got a couple songs that I like. But it be that. You know what I'm saying? Like I follow into like the records and then I learn about the person a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people who I would love to see you with. I don't know if you heard of him. You heard this artist named Nine Vicious? Boy, I would love to hear a Turbo record with my boy Nine.
Okay.
Nine Vicious and Laserdem.
Okay.
There's an artist named Laserdem. I feel like that would be a super dope collab. And hate to throw this on there too. We had our sister in here yesterday, Alicia G. She an artist out of the Carolinas.
Okay.
I feel like her on the Turbo beat would be insane.
Yeah,
you know?
we gonna tap in.
Speak that in the future.
We
You know.
gonna tap in for sure.
What are 2 things on your artist bucket list that you want to accomplish before this year is over?
I want a Grammy.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Oh, boy, that's in the mail. That's on the way.
Right.
I want a Grammy. You know what I mean? That I think that is really, that counts as 2 for me. You know what I mean? I get that, then I'm cool. Everything else is kind of happened. So once I get that Grammy, you know, put out this album, this single goes well, you know, that's on my list.
Okay. And so if there's somebody out there, they looking to be a producer, they want to follow in your footsteps.
They want to be the next Turbo, the great.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what advice would you give them?
Don't give up. You know what I mean? All of the advice that I got when I was young, it was super cliche, but it was so right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just work hard. Put yourself out there. Like, don't give up. Really, really try. You know, not just when people looking, when you by yourself.
Facts.
You know, and it'll correlate. A lot of the work that I did was doing it when nobody was looking, but you could tell the difference from a Turbo beat and a little shouty beat. You know what I mean? So once I fell in love with that process. It got easy to where, you know, now I can do 4 or 5 of them and they all gonna hit and they all gonna go to a bunch of different people. So I would just say work hard. Like, I know it's simple. I know I sound crazy or like everybody else, but like, work hard, go hard consistently. You know what I mean? Stay true to yourself. Figure out who you are and it'll come.
Indubitably.
Say less. All right, so we finna go ahead and
wrap this thing up. Make sure y'all go check out that new single, man. My brother Turbo is here in the studio on the biggest signal.
Oh, yeah.
Here in Atlanta, Georgia.
You heard what he said. 96.1 The Beat, The Night Shift.
Clocking out.